Good morning, beautiful people. Miss Cynthia, what's going on, lady? What's going on? Hats off to you. Love and appreciate you so much. To all of you guys watching me this morning, we're going to dive into something this week. Life is a classroom. How many of y'all agree with that? Life is a classroom. Now, if life is a classroom, what we have to remind ourselves is we're students. Okay, we are students. And boy, am I going through a season in my life. I'm going through a season of my life where I'm like, Lord, what are you doing? It feels amazing. I like where I am. I like where I'm heading. I am appreciative. I'm appreciative of all that God is doing. So I want you to wake up this morning and I want you to roar. I want you to roar. I want you to roar. Oh man, it's back to school season. Write that down. It's back to school season. This is my time to literally go back and look at how well am I doing? How well am I doing? That's what I want you to take from today's session today. How well am I doing? It's back to school season, Angela. It's back to school season. And I'm talking back to school season for the adults. I'm talking back to school season for the man or woman who's committed to getting the most out of this life. Days are expensive, right? Days are expensive. So this morning I want to talk, Angela, I want to talk about the power of unlearning. The power of unlearning. For those of you that are watching and taking notes, I want you to write this down. Unlearning is harder than learning. I want you to write that down. Remind yourself of that. So it's not so much I need to learn more. There's sometimes you got to get to the point where you start to realize I need to unlearn more. I need to unlearn more. So life is a classroom, Miss Jocelyn. And if life is a classroom, then you and I are students. So you can't live life effectively without being a lifelong learner. So if you're a lifelong learner, declare that this morning. I am a lifelong learner. I mean, listen, man, as long as there's life in my body, I'll be learning. If you and I, Angela, if you and I, Miss Cynthia, were planning to be around for another 20 years, do you understand the massive amount of change that's going to happen in the world? Do you understand, Miss Jocelyn, that listen, The whole dynamics of how we do life today is not going to be the same 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Everything's changing. Now, here's what I've discovered. I've discovered that the older we get, the more accustomed we get to doing it the way we've been doing it, and not so much willing to do it the way we need to do it in present time. So that there are people who won't change because they've not done it that way before. They're not accustomed to doing it that way. I want to remind you this morning, if you're going to win in relationships, you're going to have to unlearn. If you're going to win in business, you're going to have to unlearn. If you're going to win when it comes to faith, you're going to have to unlearn. If you are going to win when it comes to fun, when it comes to family, when it comes to health and fitness, you are going to unlearn. Angela, write this down. This is my season for unlearning. Hey, come on, somebody. Make me want to shout. Ooh. Listen, I can't keep doing it the way I've been doing it. And I've been locked in on doing it that way. But that's what's kept me where I am. And I don't want to stay where I am. I want to grow and go. Hello. I want to grow and go. There is more for the person who is willing to be a lifelong learner. Learning to discover new, learning to unlearn old. So either way, I am a lifelong learner. Okay? I want to remind you that this is your job. Somebody says, well, I have too much going on right now, coach. I have too much going on right now. I'm here to tell you, don't make the mistake of pushing off what you need to do today, what you need to do this week, what you need to do for the rest of this year so that you can get the most out of this year. Unfortunately, can I tell you all a secret? There are some people who are going to leave this year no different than they came into this year. There are some people who came into this year, they're going to leave this year no different than they came. That's not you and I. The effective living message, Jamal, pushes us to making sure that we don't leave a day without making the world a better place. We don't leave a week without making the world a better place. We don't leave a month without making ourselves better. Come on. If you're committed to better, write it in the comment section. There comes a time in your life where you realize a lot of people aren't that committed to better. Now, I know there's some people, Jamal, there's some people, Angela, who will say, I get tired, coach. Listen, man. I've said it before. It's worth saying again. Effective living is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have to learn how to pace yourself. And if you're tired and if you're overwhelmed and you feel as though you've just, coach, I just got too much going on, I'm telling you, you need to slow down. You need to examine and you need to commit your ways to the Lord. You need to now look at, what am I doing? Is it working for me or is it working against me? Watch this. This is a scripture. Jamal, you would know the scripture. All things are permissible to me, but not all things are beneficial. This is one of my favorite scriptures, Miss Cynthia. All things are permissible to me, but not all things are beneficial. So you get to the point where you start to examine, I can't be about everything. Okay? I can't be about everything. If I find myself trying to be about everything, I will lose me. So watch this. You have to learn how to pace yourself. Okay? Or you will lose yourself. Somebody said, he was just doing too much. That's why he broke down. She was just doing too much. No. You can do all that you need to do when you're supposed to do it. You just don't need to be doing what you don't need to be doing. Boy, you said, Miller, that's a lot right there. That's why you need me as a coach. You need somebody in your life who will tell you that's too much. Somebody who's going to tell you slow down. Somebody who's going to tell you, let's break this thing down in weeks and months, and let's break this thing down in quarters so that you don't find yourself overwhelmed. It is possible to feel overwhelmed. But here's the deal. Effective living at its best is life management. When you manage your life well, here's the deal. You will live life effectively. Now, here's 3 things I want you to take away, and I'm done. I got a meeting this morning. We're going to make this a great week. This week is back to school week. This week is the unlearning week. This week is the learning week. This week is for us to accept that we are students. We are students in the game of life. Okay? Well, Miller, I'm not winning. That means you're losing. If you're not winning, you're losing. Well, I'm not doing that bad. Well, listen, where are you? A, B, C, or D? Some people are like, well, a D is somewhat as a low pass. And I'm okay with a D. Listen, man, you can go to C. Okay? You can become a B student. You can become an A student. How well are you doing? Here's 3 things you need to do. If life is a classroom, you need to grow and you must become willing to reassess and look at how am I doing with these areas. Number 1, challenging all assumptions. Challenging all assumptions. That's number 1. Look at, have I been willing to challenge all assumptions? Some people don't challenge all assumptions because that's just the way it's been. That's just the way it's been. Man has never conquered space. Why should we go there? But we're going there. Huh? Okay, why? The reality of it is all of us have the ability. Everybody say ability. All of us have the ability to become. We can become. Now, the goal is, if you're going to become, you're going to have the challenge. You're going to have the challenge. Write that down. You're going to have to challenge all assumptions. Okay? If you don't challenge all assumption, you'll keep doing things you've been doing that you don't need to be doing. Okay? So, what once served you may now hold you back. Be open to new perspective. Well, I've always done it this way, coach. Okay? I've always done it this way. Here's one of my favorite questions when I have people kick back. Miss Cynthia, this is what I have. This is one of my favorite questions that I ask people when they're kickbacks. This is the question of the week, Jamal. How's that working for you? How's that working for you? As Miss Cynthia said, we all have the ability to become. But now you have to be willing to challenge all assumption. Challenging all assumption will move you forward. Okay? Number 2, embrace change. Okay? Okay? Embrace change. Look at what you're doing. Okay? Look at what you're doing and then just remind yourself, I have to challenge all assumption. But I just automatically, this time of year, I just never did well. Well, based on the color of my skin, I just don't see myself succeeding. People always say look at those. Why are you leaning? Are those working for you? Are those working for you? So Miss Rosalind, the goal is, don't just allow an assumption that you have always used to become the foundation for which you continue to build your life on. Because there are a lot of old assumptions that are no longer relevant. Let me say that again. Somebody needs to write that down. There are so many old assumptions that are no longer relevant. Ooh. And there are some people, their lives have been built on the foundation of all assumption. So now you have to go to point number 2. Point number 2, you have to embrace change. You have to challenge yourself. Unlearning creates space for fresh ideas and growth. Welcome change as an opportunity. Welcome change as an opportunity. This month, I'm shaking it up for myself. This month, I'm examining what I'm doing to ensure that when it comes to faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun? When it comes to holistic living, am I on a healthy path? Am I on a balanced path? Am I on a watch this, a disastrous route? Am I doomed because I am not examining my behavior and it's very clear what I'm doing is not helping me, it's hurting me? People, here's the deal, people, be not deceived. God's not mocked. What you sow, you reap. What you put in, you're going to get out. You can't deceive yourself to think you could be slothful in business, don't save, eat anything, don't treat people nice, don't be productive and engaging, don't allow yourself to be a learner, and then win. And then win. No. You Sister Rosalind, have you ever, bro, listen, have you ever, Brother Jamal, have you ever met somebody who said, I can't win for losing? Have you ever met somebody who says, boy, when it rains, it pours? Haven't you noticed that those people, they have so many of life's violation rules practicing in their life? In other words, they're slothful, they're procrastinators, they don't pay attention to what they eat, they don't honor the rules of engagement when it comes to people. They don't even study their own behavior. They're paycheck to paycheck, and they're not paying attention to how they deal with their paycheck. They're dealing with issues in their bodies, and they're not paying attention to the fact of, listen, man, a lot of what is happening to you could be prevented if you change some things. If you change some things. So this is the season where I'm changing some things because, number one, write this down. Number one, I'm challenging all assumptions. I'm not just going to automatically go there. Number two, I'm going to embrace change. Change is necessary for me to get to my promise. So I'm going to welcome change as an opportunity. And then, last but not least, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push myself to be for continuous growth. Continuous growth. Now, here's the deal. Human beings are creatures of habit, and we know we like to settle. But you can't settle. People, you can't settle. You can't settle. So we say, well, I don't know if I have it. That's where you're going to have to work. You do have it. So now you have to work on your mindset. You got to work on your mindset. You got to renew your mind. You got to renew your mind. You got to literally get past this. That's just the way it is. No, it's not just the way it is. That's the way you've become accustomed to. Okay? That's the way you have become accustomed to. And I'm here today to tell you guys, the power of unlearning would have you to understand you need to examine everything. What's not working for you? What do you want your future to look like? What do you want Christmas to look like? Start designing Christmas. What do you want the fall season to look like? Start designing the fall season. What do you want 2025 to look like? So many of us are going to be around 2030. What do you want 2030 to look like? Let me tell you something. Losers do what losers do. Winners do what winners do. So start designing the life you desire. You could start designing your life this week and say, this is how I'm going to live my life this week. I'm going to start walking in the afternoon. I'm going to food prep, okay? I'm going to start watching what I spend. I'm going to start having no spend days. I'm going to pay attention to the people I call friend. I'm going to make sure the people in my life is adding value to my life. I'm going to pay attention to who's speaking to my destiny and who is speaking to my fear. I'm going to now push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to keep the habits that are hurting me. I'm going to start incorporating more habits that are helping me. I know my life is a reflection of my decisions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay attention to my decisions, beautiful people. Okay? I'm going to pay attention to my decisions. Who's responsible for paying attention? You are. We can do this. So don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Pay attention to you. Pay attention to how well are you doing. So this is back to school week. And today I wanted to deal with the power of unlearning. Oh my God. If you could only understand that what you have learned so far hasn't gotten you where you need to go. So now you need to unlearn what you learned that you've been leaning on that's not been working for you. It's not been working for you. So my question this week, when I keep pushing this whole subject and you have that kickback, because this is back to school week. Life is a classroom, okay? And this is back to school week. And what's going to happen is there's going to be these constant moment of kickback. Constant movement of kickback. I don't know if Ricardo is on to some kind of drugs or something, but I've been doing it this way for a long time. Once again, I said you got to, number one, challenge all assumption, because I'm going to give you the question of the week. Number two, you have to be willing to embrace change. And number three is continuous growth. Now, if you are not working in those three lanes every day, every week, every month, and you could pace yourself in a way where it don't have to be frustrating. If you can't conquer it this week, make it a month goal. If you can't conquer it within a month, make it a quarterly goal. If you can't conquer it within the first quarter or second quarter or third quarter, make it a year goal. But tell yourself, I'm going to conquer this. Hello, I'm going to conquer this. So write the question down. How is that working for me? Whatever that is that you're leaning into, that you're stuck on, that you don't want to get past, how is it working for me? So as the coach, I'm going to ask you, how's that working for you? Well, you know what? I really need a coach, but I don't want to get a coach. Well, you know, really need to be eating different, but I just like eating this way. You know what? I need to manage my money better, but you know, how's that working for you? I really need to zip it and shut my mouth sometime, but I like to talk and I get myself in trouble. Oh, I really never talk up. How's that working for you? How's that? Ask yourself, how's that working for me? The mindset that you have, how's that working for you? The eating habits that you have, how's that working for you? Ask yourself, how's it working for you? Because you are responsible for the decisions you make on a daily basis. And your life is working out for you based on the decisions you make on a daily basis. That's a good word right there. Come on, that's a good word. I'll be back tomorrow right here on Effective Living YouTube and Effective Living LLC on Facebook. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.